So, the loss of humanity, or grieving the loss of humanity. So, this past summer, there were a number of shootings of unarmed black men. There were lots of demonstrations as opposing those those killings of not only black men but black children as well. And I found myself really feeling tormented about those things, feeling sadness and anger and depression, and I could not figure it out until I started looking at some work I was doing on another project around depression. And I was looking at depression, and then it hit me that a large part of what I was feeling, was natural. It was a natural feeling for me to have, given the circumstances around those world events. But I also realized that I was going through the stages of grief. And in some ways, I was further along in some of those stages than some of my other friends who had just engaged in this idea of grief. And it was very frustrating for me to be further along in this grief process and then to see other folks who are just beginning the grief process, because I had already passed that particular stage. And so when I came to this understanding of the loss and the grief that I was feeling, I then asked the question, well, what am I grieving? Because what's happening? And one of the things that came to me was that I was experiencing the loss, I was experiencing grief because my humanity was under attack. And when the humanity of one is diminished, the humanity of all of us is diminished. And so, in an effort to try to figure out how I could obtain some healing, I started looking at this idea that we are all experiencing some grief and loss around our humanity. And so we'll spend some time now talking about how do you deal with that, and then what do you need to do to help clients and coworkers deal with the assaults that we are having on our humanity.